Welcome back to the Mahogany Gym, and... What? It's over already? Really? Oh my god, this is the last ice puzzle in this gym, and you know how I usually hate ice puzzles to death? Well, this one was unbelievably easy. That was pathetic. I expected there to be, one more room after this that would give me tons and tons and tons of trouble. But that's it? That's honestly it? As I said in the last video, back in my Crystal LP, I was forced to speed up and play music because of how long it took to solve the puzzle. But here, it's just... oh my god. I was about to say I can't believe my luck, but it's not really luck, as it is the game designers taking a day off on this one. Ice puzzles are meant to be excruciatingly difficult and annoying. This isn't even worth being called an ice puzzle. And the one in the Ice Series gym, it really isn't that bad either. It's really the one in Crystal that was... oh my god, I still can't get over how nasty it was. By the way, one thing about Pryce, in Hard Gold and Soul Silver, his levels were increased by 3, I believe. Reason being that his levels were much, much lower than Jasmine in the originals. They were even sort of comparable to Chuck. So, yeah, this is why they decided to increase the difficulty on him, because, well, at least consider that one prayer answered. They didn't cop out on the gym leader this time, saying, you can go to Mahogany first. Pryce actually has decent levels this time around. I wonder how steep that would be, though, for people who did Mahogany first. I never actually did Mahogany first. I always beat the game in its intended order, that is, Chuck first, then Jasmine, and only after that I go to Mahogany, do everything there, and beat Pryce. So, every day he sits on top of very cold ice and trains his body and spirit. Holy crap! He must know every doctor in the area by their first name. I mean, Jesus! You risk getting injured there, man. Anyway, Lapras goes in the lead for this fight because it has Thunderbolt, it has Water Absorb to absorb those water attacks, since, as I said before, a lot of these Pokemon in there are water types, and it's also well insulated against ice moves. And by the way, yes, he just complained about how he suffered a lot in his life. Well, no shit, Sherlock! You put your butt cheeks on ice every fucking day! How can you expect not to suffer? You think it's comfortable or something? No, that's why you suffer, you idiot! Well, that and the beating that I'm about to give you. Anyway, Seal should be very easy. One Thunderbolt and it's gonna go down. And as I said before, levels are much higher here than in Gold, Silver, Crystal. So it might actually be a bit more challenging, but don't count on it. Pile of Swine, Surf on this one, because it also happens to be ground, so it's weak to Surf. I might have been interested in using Ante, but if I ever let it have a turn, it would use probably Earthquake, which would be a very bad idea. Anyway, Dewgong. This thing is actually decently bulky, and Lapras' special attack isn't the highest out there, and it doesn't have stab, but still. Let's see, is it going to be enough for the one-hit KO? After all, it's still a super effective hit. Nope! No one-hit KO this time, and Aurora Beam. Well, it's better than using Surf or something and have Water Absorb to make it do absolutely nothing. Willow is my middle name. I'm not giving up yet. Want to know my middle name? Die! And I guess I can count myself lucky that he didn't use a healing item, because sometimes it happens when they're really, really deep in the yellow that they use healing items, but it wasn't the case here, I guess. But anyway, we beat the 7th gym leader in Johto. So thanks to that, I am going to receive the Glacier Badge, which will enable me to use Whirlpool outside of battle. So now this means that the Whirl Islands are now open to me, and it's going to be my next destination, as a matter of fact. And real whirlpools as opposed to fake whirlpools? TM07, this is hail. Absolutely useless. Well, unless you want to run a novelty set like Hail Tentacruel or something to stop other weather teams or something like that. But anyway, you may have noticed that Pryce had a slight makeover in Hard Gold and Soul Silver. He now has a coat, which is appropriate given what kind of climate he's living in. In Gold Silver Crystal, he had freaking shorts. And, well, as I said before, no wonder he claims he's suffering so much. Anyway, once you've beaten Chuck, Jasmine, and Pryce, something will happen when you step out of the gym, and that is phone call from Professor Elm. And the phone call, what it's about is basically the fact that Team Rocket has taken over the waves, they've invaded the radio tower, so as major video game protagonist, it's my job to do something about it. And, oh, sorry about that, and there's a window that I'm going to have to close. There we go. So, yeah, let's take a look at what Team Rocket is saying. It's scrolling a bit too fast for you to read, probably, so if you really want to read, then feel free to pause the video or something. But anyway, they're trying to reach Giovanni, which is the purpose of this invasion. That and just causing trouble, which is what Team Rocket does best, I guess. Anyway, we're not going to Goldenrod quite yet. Instead, we're going to fly to Cyanwood in order to enter the Whirl Islands. Now, I'm just going to heal first. The Whirl Islands, the way they work is that there are 4 islands that are each protected by whirlpools. 3 of these islands lead into the main area of the dungeon, which is what we're going to be exploring today. And the other island, which is the upper right one. Right when you enter, you got a fork in the path. One of the paths leads to the main room, and the other one leads to Lugia. Now, you can't do much progress in the path that leads to Lugia, because you're going to get blocked fairly quickly, because we haven't beaten the Kimono Girls yet, which can only be done once we have all the badges in this game. So, what I'm going to do, I'm going to explore the main area of the Whirl Islands, and the rest will have to wait until I've beaten the Kimono Girls. And by the way, yes, I have a map of the main area that's open. I don't really need a map of everything else, considering all the other rooms are so small, but the main room that I'm referring to is very big, and it's actually quite maze-like. Probably not as bad as Mount Mortar, but it's still fairly complex. So let's get rid of that whirlpool, or right straight through it. For some reason I remembered it going away like in Gold, Silver, Crystal, but I guess that works too. As long as I can get across, there's no real problem. Anyway, the island that I'm going to be entering this dungeon from is the upper left, and oh yeah, that's right, we need Flash. Thank goodness Wooper has it, otherwise I would have needed to go all the way back to Cyanwood and get my Flash slave. Now, going down into the main room. You can't see it right now because you don't have the map open, but it's a fairly huge room. It's not small by any means. Anyway, electric attacks. Make sure you have lots of them here, because they absolutely dominate this place. The only wild Pokemon you'll be encountering are Krabby, Seal, Zubat, and Golbat. If my memory serves me correctly, you might encounter other ones while surfing, but unless you got stuff like Wooper and Quagsire, then it's not going to be a problem. Electric attacks is just going to dominate them anyway. By the way, something that I wanted to come back to, and we have some time ahead of us, so I can do that. A few parts ago, I ranted about how, memories tended to sugarcoat your preferences in terms of games. It's especially true when it comes to the Pokémon franchise. Well, the very next day after I uploaded this video, Chugga Conroy had a rant in his own Pikmin 2 LP about how that held true in his case. Yeah, he said that his Pikmin 2 LP actually made him like the game less, and then he went off on a tangent about why he liked the original better, and it was, much to my surprise, it had to do with story and character. Correct me if I'm wrong, but Pikmin's not the kind of game that you should play if you're looking for story and character. I mean, maybe it's just me, being my grumpy old self, Back in my day, all we cared about was saving the princess, and that's all that mattered, goddammit! But either way, in my opinion, Pikmin 2 is by far the superior game, even though I'm not done with the game yet. I haven't done any of the insanely hard dungeons, for one, and apparently that's a pretty big part of the game. But that's not what I wanted to talk about. I mentioned earlier how he said that this was one case where LPing the game actually made him like the game less, and what I'm meaning to say is that I can actually relate to that. Now you might be surprised to know that I'm not referring to Generation 1 and 2 Pokemon games. They, by all means, playing through them again back in 2008, 2009 made me realize just how outdated they are, but still, providing commentary still made those LPs a very enjoyable experience. No, what I'm talking about is the Emerald LP. And it's, for one reason only. The freaking sea roots. Now, it's unanimously agreed that the sea roots are this game's most glaring weakness. And when I say this game, I don't talk about the one you're looking at right now. I'm talking about Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald. Near the end of the sea roots, you could feel my anger, my pain, my suffering at having to go through all those routes just because I wanted to be as thorough as possible. I could have skipped them, but curse me and my completionist habits, I guess I could call them. So yeah, I already knew when I LP'd Red and Crystal that this would be a last time through thing, especially because, well, now there are remakes that are superior and all, but nonetheless, as far as Emerald goes, I don't know. I think it's going to take a pretty long time before I pick up that game again because of how badly it rubbed me the wrong way when I LP'd it. And, yeah, I guess I might have to wait for a remake of that game before playing it again, Even though I'm not expecting a remake to come in the next couple years, it would just be a terrible move to do it on the DS. And, it's already compatible with the modern games anyway, so, making a remake would be redundant, unlike, Generations 1 and 2 that aren't compatible with the modern games, so remakes were fully justified. That and the game really hasn't changed all that much since Generation 3. The physical, special, split, triple battles, rotation battles, that is not what's going to sell copies. So for that reason, I'm definitely not expecting a remake until at least partway through Generation 6. But that's not what I intended on talking about. The fact of the matter is that, Emerald really rubbed me the wrong way when I LP'd it, so I really doubt that I'll be picking it up again for quite some time. And it's a shame, too, because Hoenn did a lot of things right. It's just a shame that those sea roots have to come and ruin everything. Anyway, don't think we're going to have time for another random encounter, so that's going to be it for today. Next time, we're going to finish the Whirl Islands and head back to Goldenrod.